can you see this person's perspective, but can you see beyond this barrier that is in front of you right now? And we do get to that place of gratitude and actually appreciation. Now, it takes us refusing to stay in a victim mindset in order to do that.
Ain't no victims. I've lost my mind. I was up really late last night at a TV taping for a show called the Nashville Beat. I got home at 1:00. I was up at 6. So I might just be a little unhinged today, Teri Pugh.
Well, that's quite all right. Unhinged is the way to go, right?
It is. And it's a perfect day to have Hypno Hottie on with us.
I love Hypno Hottie.
I'm laughing. I call Steve that, and he knows that. So that, that's what I call him. Steve Roehm is with us, our special guest. We're going to talk about hypnotherapy.
Hypnotherapy.
Because people go, what is it? And I go, y'all, I did it. And I did not cluck like a chicken that I know of.
Most people don't even know what hypnosis is, much less hypnotherapy.
Well, hey, that's a good way to kind of jump into this. What is it?
What is it? Mm-hmm. Okay, well, let's talk about it. People have this idea that it's this. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I don't do this. I only have this so I can show people that I don't do this. What hypnosis really is, it's when your unconscious or your subconscious mind, that part of you that really is all your programs, your beliefs, your values, your ethics, your morals, everything that makes you you, it's when that part of your mind is really open to taking in suggestion, and when it takes in an idea and it accepts that idea as a truth. Now we've stepped into a whole new realm of belief systems, because it changes your beliefs about who you are, your perspectives on the world, your behaviors. And that's really what hypnosis is. It's affecting the unconscious mind in a way that will create a different outcome. Now, sometimes you may see that on like stage shows and stuff. I'm not a fan. Those things, people ask me if that's real all the time or not. And yes and no. There are people who get on stage and they will act out on stage because they've got an opportunity to do so.
Okay.
Yeah, and the thing is, they're not going to keep them on stage if they're not actually playing along and going with the whole show anyway. Because if they're not entertaining, why keep them up there? Right. But there are some people who go up there and they really do go into hypnosis and they do follow along and step into these belief systems for a short period of time. And really what I'm trying to do with the hypnotherapy is helping people change on a grand scale, so it affects their life from here forward. And it's not just that short time effect. Well,
we want not a short time effect. We want like forever change. We want things to change. No. And we've got a lot of folks checking in. Elizabeth is here. Good morning, beautifuls. And of course, Wayne. Hello, Wayne. Yeah. And Elizabeth says no.
Come on, Wayne.
Yes. No chicken clucking, Elizabeth says.
In 22 years of doing this, I've never had a single person cluck like a chicken. The whole stereotype of that is just ridiculous. But
it is kind of crazy. And Junior joins us. He joined us last week. He was part of it. And my friend Teri Luno joins us. Let's see there. Now here's a question. And we're going to talk about this, and I want Teri to address it as well as you. And okay. Teri, I want you to talk about fear, first of all. I've always had a fear of being hypnotized. I think it's because of the whole chicken clucking thing. Okay, I was there. We're going to talk about fear first, and because you've had to deal personally with my fears, Teri.
Well, fear in and of itself is not necessarily a bad thing. There's healthy fear that we have. Stepping out in traffic. Healthy fear not to do that. Going to a doctor's appointment, sometimes that could be a healthy fear. It's just your body's way of setting an alarm for you. Sometimes with our life experiences and the things that we have, our emotional armor that we've put on, we get a lot of fear sensors that are not accurate. And so the fear of clucking like a chicken, you don't have to be hypnotized to do that. You could literally stand in a Kroger parking lot and cluck like a chicken if you want to, So looking at a rational fear and a fear that's not necessarily beneficial for you.
Right.
That may or may not have to do with what Steve works with, but a person that wants to set themselves up to go see Steve, have a consult, that's going to eliminate some of the fear. The more you know, the more you educate yourself about something, likely the fear is going to ratchet itself back. You may be anxious. Also, there's a difference in knowing what is fear, what is anxiety, and what is excitement, because they can stimulate the body in the same ways, but they run in completely different directions.
Ooh, that's good. Well, we've got a testimonial of someone who talks about things that Steve covers. So we're going to hear from someone who, like me, who actually went and experienced this.
Hi, my name is Cindy Torres, and I came to Steve Roehm and for alcohol abuse. He doesn't like that word, but whatever. Anyways, it's been 3 months and I've been clean, getting a healthy life, and I highly recommend that if you have issues in any part of your life to come and see him. Awesome work. I've been fighting this for 10 years, and when I came and saw him the first day, I did not drink. I haven't drank. So also with weight loss, cigarette smoking, we'll take it one day at a time. But anyways, yes, that's my testimony, and I want to just put a shout out there for my family and my husband for standing behind me through this whole ordeal. So anyways, that's my testimony, and I hope that everybody comes and sees him because he's awesome. You fall in love with his eyes. I did.
Well, she's kind of adorable. And I'm the only one that says hypno hottie. So
Cindy was awesome. She actually did end up quitting smoking and dropped a bunch of weight as well. So, but I do want to address what that comment a few minutes ago about the fear of hypnosis.
Yeah, exactly.
The thing about fearing hypnosis, it's kind of like fearing gravity. Because you are affected by it every single day and you just don't know it. Mm-hmm. We're affected by the news. We're affected by the people around us. Here in the South, it's our teachers, our preachers, our doctors, and our parents when we're growing up. Mm-hmm. They affect our belief systems from the day where they tell us things. And still today, a lot of people go to their doctors, and their doctor will tell them something, and they immediately accept that as truth. And going back to what I was talking about a while ago, as far as hypnosis and accepting a truth as a new idea as a truth. Doctors are hypnotizing people every single day. And people have no idea. Because again, it's not this. You're not necessarily going to go into some profoundly deep trance when I work with you. Mm-hmm. In fact, a lot of the work that I do is very conversational. People don't even know we're working until the problem doesn't exist anymore. So you could be afraid of it if you want, but it's still affecting you every day. And being aware of how you're being affected by the information that you're taking in is much more important than being afraid of it. Because then you have the ability to control your response to it. And
I want to bring that up right now because there are people, and Teri, you gonna jump right on in here because I know that you will. The news is hypnotizing. The 24-hour news channels are as hypnotizing as anything we experience. We are afraid of going to a hypnotherapist, but we'll sit and watch one of the news channels.
It doesn't matter which side.
Doesn't matter. Same thing. Same hypnosis.
It's all hypnosis.
Well, and here, let's take it one step further. Some folks are afraid to go to a hypnotherapist. They may be leery of watching the news, right? I don't want to watch the news. But how often do they pick up their phone and get on social media?
Oh my gosh.
Because we have people that call themselves influencers. And that is just energy and word placement that absorbs, reconfigures, and then we're out, doing exactly what we have been guided to do in an unconscious state, right? We're conscious, we're watching it, but we're not picking up on the fact that the cues and the words and the energy are actually going in. And then we're like, oh yeah, I had this great idea to go have sushi. Had nothing to do with the fact that you were following a sushi tasty thing and a few, well-placed words and whatnot. So we are constantly being influenced. We're influenced from birth. You're either pink or blue, and you're influenced at that point of how you should act or what is accepted. So it just depends on how far back we want to take the influencing, but it's
pink and blue now.
Yeah, it's there all the time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joyce asked, how about fear and anxiety? Can those issues be helped? Can you help with that, Steve?
Absolutely. Yeah. Just give me a call. I'm happy to talk to anybody about anything. If you have any questions about it, I saw the website a while ago. It's NashvilleHypnosis.com. I'm easy to find.
Okay. I'm going to say that this is the issue. For me, it was trauma. That was the thing. And I'm very open about that. I mean, I had to deal with some of that, and and I just come right out here. I'm the guinea pig in the whole group. Teri's my life coach. Steve did hypnotherapy. And in a previous show, we just talked to T. Graham Brown, and he was talking very openly about addiction and bipolar and being bipolar. Let's talk a little bit about mental illness and how things like coaching and hypnotherapy can help with that. Steve, you first.
If it's getting into too deep as far as the mental illness goes, I don't work with it. For the most part, my clients are pretty happy and normal. They're really dealing with some things in their lives that they don't know how to handle. But I, as a hypnotherapist, and I am just a hypnotherapist, I'm not trained as a psychologist or a psychiatrist, so I don't take on those heavier mental issues. I help people change their belief systems. I help people release traumas, and I help people change behaviors. And really, those are the things that I do. I've had people call me about bipolar, and depending on the level of bipolarity, if it's pretty mild, I'm okay working with them. But I've had some extreme cases come in, and they're not really my cup of tea, honestly.
But it's important that people know, because
Sure.
You don't make the call. And Teri, you also deal with this as well, because you've got some cred behind your name, and you were at Vanderbilt for quite some time, but you don't do that as such.
I do not diagnose or prescribe. So I will meet with people on a consult, and there's an expectation there. I'm open and honest, and the expectation is they will be as well. And if they have a level of mental health that may have been undiagnosed, and they're seeking a diagnosis, I will refer them on, because that's outside of my scope. And I don't have any interest in tap dancing in that arena, because I don't have an interest in tap dancing in that arena. Pretty much.
It's a whole different arena.
but I will say this, that there are a large number of people who self-diagnose, tons of people who self-diagnose, and they can benefit from counseling, consulting, coaching, hypnotherapy, because they have self-diagnosed. So they're actually not, their belief may be that they have an issue, a mental health issue, but they actually may not. It may be trauma. It may be addiction. It may be a loss of some sort that is not necessarily a huge traumatic event, but nonetheless compound losses through their life. So people in those situations can absolutely, if they're open to it, benefit from what Steve does, as well as what I do, and at Angel Horse Farms with what you do out there. Yeah. So it is a matter of there is some accountability to people being open, willing, and receptive. Because we can go in all day long and, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. And you will unintentionally shut yourself off to the possibility of this amazing, experience that can happen and change your life.
Yep.
True. And there are a lot of different modalities out there. And I call what coaching and what hypnotherapy is, that's what we put in the category of self-care. Self-care is when you go, I need something and I need some help and I want to get better. Now let's talk about the time limit. There's the phrase, once an addict, always an addict. I always have to struggle. I always have to white knuckle. Let's just open up that can of worms. I know
I can't help but the minute you said that, Steve and I both are like,
yeah.
Just like, take it away, Steve.
BS.
Complete
Belief system. It's a terrible belief system.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. And I don't believe always anything. Because, and number one, I don't believe in absolutes. Because everything is always changing. That's one thing I can say always about it. It is always changing. You know, this too shall pass is something we can always count on. You know, so yeah, the fact that somebody thinks they're going to always experience something is just an erroneous thought that they're holding on to, and they're projecting it and magnifying it in such a way that it really is going to affect their life. But always anything, you know. Yeah, even carrying the whole idea of I'm always going to be an addict. Mm-hmm. You know, and I used to drink a lot. I think Devon and I, we've had this conversation. Mm-hmm. I used to drink a lot, and by many definitions, people probably would have looked at me and said, "Oh, he's an alcoholic." I never accepted that as a label, and by doing that, I think it really gave me the freedom to step away from it and go, "Okay, I don't do this anymore." You know, and if I'd said, okay, well, I'm a dry alcoholic, you know, and then I've still had the idea and carrying that idea that I'm still an alcoholic or I've still got that problem. That problem is gone for me. You know, that's years ago. And so I don't believe in those absolutes, you know, unless I'm absolutely changing.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely getting older and learning, hopefully, you know.
The words have power.
Oh my gosh.
And what we tell ourselves, we self-hypnotize on a regular basis every day. You know, I can't lose weight.
The hypnosis that's already there.
Yes.
Right.
Okay, Teri, you talk about that and let's uncover that just a little bit because we've talked about that a whole lot. The things that we tell ourselves over and over and over. I am an addict. I am overweight. I cannot. Those are things that are hurdles.
Not only are they hurdles and are they self-imposed hurdles, they are a way that we become our biggest bullier and our biggest betrayer. Mm-hmm. You know, because we take an experience that has happened in the past and we own it and personalize it. And for whatever reason, the belief system is, we become really comfortable in that uncomfortable. You know, the uncomfortable, comfortable that we talk about a lot, Devon. You know, we become uncomfortably comfortable there. And then everything does become always and every, and, you know, and the willingness becomes narrower and narrower, and the always becomes more and more and more, you know, and the words, our words have so much power, because here's the one thing about the brain's only doing what we tell it to do. Like, it's not like it's out to get us, right?
Yeah.
So if I'm telling myself, well, today's going to be a crappy day, I can assure you that anything that is bright, sunny, and sparkly around me, my filters will be off to that. And all the crappy stuff will be, I will see it because I'm expecting myself to see that, maybe even on an unconscious level. So I can, there we go again. There's traffic. Oh God, there's this. Oh God, I'm so, and it's just this constant unfolding and barrage of these things that we already expect because we think it always happens.
Yep.
So we're drawn to it, you know,
but
it's not always happening. Just as much great and good and comfortable and peaceful is unfolding out there too. We're just not tuned into that lens. We're not tuned in with that lens.
We negate most of what we experience. Mm-hmm. We delete almost everything we experience. In fact, everybody who's sitting here watching this video, you're forgetting to pay attention to everything else that's around you while you're watching this video. You're not thinking about where you're sitting, how your body weight's pressing down on your seat, or where your feet are positioned. You're not thinking about your clothes touching your body right now. You weren't thinking about the things that are outside the screen. There's so much information you're receiving right now, you're negating completely. And a lot of that is especially going back to belief systems. Are you familiar with Darren Brown?
Mm-mm.
No, like Teri is. He's a mentalist hypnotist in the UK. He's done several shows on the BBC. He did a program on belief. Did you ever see that one, Teri?
I did not see it.
No. They went in. There was this butcher. This guy had this belief that he had no luck at all. And they set up all these experiments to see if he would even be able to perceive any of it. And they came in and they gave him a lottery ticket as payment for some of his butchering services, whatever he did. And he's like, I'll just give it to my brother because my brother's always the lucky one. He gets all the girls. He's got, blah, blah, blah. His brother, he's in on the thing. He scratches it off. It's a 10,000 pound winner. And he goes, see, my brother, he's always got all the luck. Right. They actually put a 20-pound note on the street in front of this guy. He stepped over it because he didn't see it. Because his belief system didn't allow him to see that there's something right there lucky in front of him. He stepped right over it.
Right.
Our beliefs, they affect our perception of everything around us. And until you change your belief system about yourself, you're not going to change your perception of your world either.
Right. Well, when I have people show up and they'll say, oh, God, it's been just, how's your past week been? Just a general synopsis. We don't need to dig off into every little, hangnail. And it will, most people have got really great reports. There'll be a few people that'll just be like, and then they'll start traveling down this road. And I'm like, so we're, like we're reliving this. We don't have to relive this. And, and first off, you got out of bed, your legs were working, your eyes are working, you have a car that works, you were able to navigate traffic to get here. You have the money to pay for this. You're in a nice, comfy, cozy room. And those are all amazing things, right? But we don't see that. We see, it's raining outside.
We're so spoiled.
Elizabeth. You guys, Elizabeth says, I am an alcoholic. I think I will always be allergic to alcohol, but I haven't white knuckled it for years. I'm at the point where not drinking just is in my life. And I think that's a healthy way to look at that, Elizabeth. I think that is important to, to look at that. And, but she also moves on after what we were just talking about. That's perceptions need to change.
Well, yeah, I love what you said, except for that first statement there.
Well, and I think that there is, everyone has their way, right? And what works for them. So I have a lot of different colleagues that do a lot of different modalities, and there's something out there for everybody. I work with people who are, have been sober living for 3, 5, 10 years now, and it is an identity, but it is also, more importantly, a choice of how you choose to live your life in the present moment, which actually trumps any of the identities that we give ourselves, right?
That's good. Here's my thing in the perception that I will blow the whistle every time I hear it, and it's anybody that I'm getting old. I am old. The old word, my hair's gray. Oh, I just hate that. I'm going, no, okay. First of all, don't use the O word. Don't use that. And you start putting yourselves into these decrepit categories that aren't real.
Yep.
Self-expectation.
Yes. Hey, we're going to talk about a couple of things coming up before we get out of here. I want to talk about a class that is virtual that Steve is going to be doing. And we're going to talk about, speaking of doctors, a chiropractor that actually studied your work.
Okay, my name is Mike Hudak, and I took this class because I wanted to be able to connect better with my patients. I'm a chiropractor, and what I learned was just so much more. Now, when a patient comes in, a lot of times I tell you they have a neck pain that goes down to their arm or something like that. And I can get in such detail with them with not just their pain, but truly connecting with them with their problem of how that's affecting their life and how that perpetuates into their life and beyond. It wasn't what I came for, but I learned so much more than I had ever expected with this information. It's something that I know that I've made huge transformations during it. and I know that I can continue that throughout life. So I highly recommend taking Steve's class. This was conversational hypnosis, and it really changed me. So good luck.
Okay, so when is your class starting, and how can they get information? Because it's not just about problems. Sometimes you're wanting to use your techniques, and you are a purveyor of this technique.
Yeah. I've been teaching other people to do hypnosis and practice hypnosis for the past 13 years. So this is nothing new to me, but I'm doing it virtually. And so anybody anywhere in the world can join this. It starts Tuesday night at 6:00 Central Time. And it's going to go for 8 weeks, for 8 Tuesdays. So you're going to have a chance to not only learn it, but put the principles and the things that I teach you into practice for a week. So by the time we get finished with this 8 weeks, you're really going to have mastered all the principles and all the fundamentals of hypnosis. And we're going to do it in a very conversational way. So, and if you want to get certified as a hypnotherapist, that's going to be offered at the end of it as well.
Fantastic. And I always say that it's really good if you're a communicator, if you're a speaker, if you are a salesperson. You're not going to be out doing, the hoogly boogly on people, look deep into my eyes. What do you desire? No, you're not doing that, but it's a better way to communicate. And it's a way, if you've had difficulties in communicating your ideas to people, and this is something very cool for you. So
I basically say, if you talk to other people, you should learn how to do this.
That's good. And Teri, we want to talk about our guest last week. Vic was a part of what we did, and you guys have some workshops coming up, a series starting.
The first one was the 10th of this month, last week.
Yeah. And then the next one is July 24th. You can do the remaining of them as a package, or you can do one at a time. Purpose, power, plugging in.
Yes. And this one is going to be on purpose, and it's going to be more about dispelling the perfect that we're talking about this today, the beliefs around purpose, because so many people think it is like one thing that you're supposed to aspire to that is outside of you. And our workshop is more about being intentional and focused and present with your now, so that you are actually living a purpose and purpose-filled life, and you're living not only on but in purpose. So, which keeps our consciousness a little more clean and on its toes. Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
There's so many people that really have difficulty with focus because we got so many distractions coming in. I want to ask Teri, what is your way that you narrow down and say, I'm going to center, I'm going to focus? What's your way?
I have a few ways. My biggest way is just going off the grid. And I say off the grid, I mean, I'll take a break from my social medias. I will get clear with what my task at hand or my focus at hand is if I'm working on a project. But in my day-to-day, it's mindful breathing. It's being present and being in the moment and recognizing that no matter where I'm at, there is something in that arena that I can be not only present with, but appreciative of.
All
right. What about you, Steve?
Morning meditation every day helps. And my marble exercise. I wish I had time to teach that, but unfortunately we've got like a minute and a half here. So,
but we'll have you back and we'll do the marble exercise. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, let's do that.
Elizabeth
says, can I get my link real quick?
Yeah.
It's www.conversationalhypnosistraining.com if you want to check out the training. Make sure you put the www in there for some reason. I don't know. But
okay.
Yeah.
Conversationalhypnosistraining.com.
Yep.
Okay. And then Teri, Transcending Turbulence.
Transcending Turbulence is all the social media thingies, but I can be found at www.teripugh.com. So
TERIPUGH. And Elizabeth says, I go off the grid camping in the Smoky Mountains or for an hour at a time in the float tank. I love that. Float tank is something that I have not gotten to try yet. And I had a place close beside me that I was going to do it. And then bless her, she's not there anymore. COVID took a lot of businesses, and that was one of them in our area. So, but there is a place in Nashville that I want to try to get to.
Do it a few times to really get the full effect of it, because the first time's cool, but go back a few times.
And she said, I'm going to get you in, Devon, soon. I'm all for it. Well, you guys, this has been so much fun. Thank you all, and appreciate you guys being here. Thank you, Steve.
Thanks, Devon.
Thanks for
Good
joining
to see you,
us.
Teri.
Good to see you again.
I know, Steve. Is it a pretty day today? I haven't even been outside. Is it? It's been
I've been
crazy.
session all day. This is where I sit for the next 5 hours. So
It's lovely. I just had a few Zooms and I could see outside, and it's beautiful out there. So
All right, I go because I know that part of your therapy, Steve, is on a bike, just like mine is on a horse.
that's at 6 o'clock.
mine's in a kayak.
There you go.
That's right. That's
That works
right.
too.
We all have our thing, and we hope that you guys do too. And Teri, you close us always with your saying.
I love it. You guys, thanks for joining us, and increase the peace.